Hey guys! Welcome to the Secrets Behind the Stars channel. All the details are in our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share our video before continuing. Thank you so much. The night glittered with flashbulbs and velvet ropes, the kind of premiere that turns a city into a stage. It was the big unveiling of the film Bak Postay Geliyor, headlined by Halil Ibrahim Ceyhan, and every eye along that red carpet expected the same thing. Halil arriving hand in hand with Sıla Türkoğlu. But as limousines slid to a stop and the photographers shouted for frames, Halil stepped out alone. A suit tailored like a second skin, a calm smile that held steady in the strobe of cameras, and an empty space at his side that said more than words ever could. Within minutes, the murmur began, where was Sıla? Why wasn't she there on a night this important? In the crowd, the question moved like static. It drifted from whispering guests to buzzing phones, then shot through social media as if the carpet itself had a life online. Comments and theories stacked up fast. Did they drift apart? Did something happen behind the scenes? Fans who adored their on-screen electricity and whispered about their off-screen connections suddenly found themselves guessing at dots they couldn't connect. The couple has always preferred the quiet path, no grand declarations, no daily updates. So their rare public steps together usually feel deliberate. And because of that, Sıla's absence felt weighty. If this was a huge moment for Halil, wouldn't she be there, front row, center, camera-ready support? Halil didn't show a crack in that bright facade. He greeted reporters with warmth, spoke about the film with practiced sincerity, nodded at his collaborators, and let out measured laughs that reassured casual observers. Yet when the questions edged toward private territory, he simply didn't open that door. He parried with grace, neither confirming nor denying anything at all. That refusal to feed the frenzy, some called it composure, others called it strategy, added fuel. Silence is oxygen for gossip. And that night, it burned bright. Then came the countercurrent, soft at first, growing steadier. Quiet chatter from people said to be close to the situation offered a different narrative. Sıla wasn't missing because of a rift. She was working, locked into a schedule that had been on the books for weeks. Filming late, rehearsing early, shuttling between set calls and meetings that kept stretching past ordinary hours. According to those whispers, it wasn't romance that kept her away, it was the calendar. For those who followed her career, it's no surprise. She is known for focus and stamina, the kind of performer who ends one day already halfway inside the next. If anything, sources insisted, the story had been blown into the stratosphere over a purely logistical snag. But if you've spent any time in the orbit of celebrity, you know the rule. Where there's smoke, there's gossip, and where there's gossip, there are 1,000 matches ready to spark. The public split almost immediately. Half shrugged and said relationships don't have to be displayed to be real, argued that grown professionals can support each other privately, and pointed out plenty of couples who skip red carpets without crumbling. The rest looked at the pattern. They noted that Halil had been doing the film's promotional rounds solo. They noticed that Sıla, even in her upbeat posts, had been appearing alone, busy, yes, but quiet about him. They wondered if the distance wasn't just physical but emotional. And each new photo from a set, each interview that dodged the personal, was read like a clue in a case that might not even exist. Neither of them weighed in. No statement, no comment, no polite correction. Just the sound of professional noise, interviews for the film, studio lights on different sets, and the hum of a career moment that should have been solely about the work. Rumors inside the industry hinted that a public appearance together could be on the horizon, as if a simple photo might be strong enough to pull the narrative back toward truth. Everyone waited, journalists, fans, colleagues, for some gesture that would either close the chapter or send it spinning into a new round of speculation. Until then, the premiere's most memorable absence hung like a lamp in the dark. Inside the theater's inner ring, away from the red carpet, Halil looked relaxed, even buoyant, while chatting with friends and colleagues. If he was carrying the weight of the whispers, he didn't show it. He held the conversation to the project, its craft, its challenges, its long lead-up and the work behind the scenes. When someone edged toward the personal with a side-angled question, he steered back toward the film's heartbeat, as if he'd drawn an invisible line between public interest and private life. Some observers wrote it off as a PR instinct honed by experience. Others called it a mutual pact between two people who've learned that letting private things stay private can be its own kind of love story. And what about Sıla? Not a congratulatory post. Not a red carpet message. Not a quick story from behind the scenes to say, "I'm proud of you." Was that silence saying something, or was it simply the absence of noise? Her own feed showed her with the energy her fans know so well, smiling, animated, immersed in work. There was a sense of momentum, new pages, new lights, new challenges. For those who believe in them, that was proof enough that nothing catastrophic had happened. For those addicted to narratives, it was yet another puzzle piece that made the picture blurrier. Another theory cropped up, not from evidence, but from exhaustion. Some said that the two had pushed their relationship further into the shadows on purpose. The more the online commentary grew teeth, the more tempting it would be to keep their moments for themselves. They've danced with rumors before and beat them. Each time tongues wagged, a sighting followed. A casual dinner, a quiet walk, a soft denial that didn't need a podium. People who claim to understand their rhythms say this is how they move. They weather the chatter, then appear, not with a declaration, but with the ease of two people who never stopped being the same two people. Still, not everyone sees it as strategic privacy. Another camp stamped the night with symbolism. If a premiere is a landmark, the logic goes, absence must mean something. At a moment like this, a partner's presence is a signpost, loyalty made visible. If she skipped that, isn't that telling? Maybe, maybe not. The idea rests on hunches whispered along staircases and in crowded foyers, not on something you can hold up as proof. Even so, the opinion keeps circulating because it's tidy, and tidy answers are sweet to the tongue when the real story is messy and unknown. So yes, the picture remains cloudy. Sıla's decision, or necessity. Not to attend was gasoline for a fire already flickering. There isn't a definitive word from either of them, and until there is, anyone can cast themselves as detective and draw their own lines between scattered dots. In truth, a single step could quiet the room. A joint appearance, a shared frame, a gentle message. Or that same step, filtered through 1,000 interpretations, could make the noise louder. This is the paradox of their fame. The more they try to keep the lens on their work, the more the world zooms in on the spaces in between. Here's a small scene from later that night, the kind that usually gets tucked into the backstage pile. A handful of guests, after realizing she wasn't on the carpet, started looking around for Sıla as if she might be tucked behind a column, running late, waving from a balcony. You could hear it in pockets of conversation. Did she change her mind at the last minute? Did something happen? Traffic, a flight, a crisis no one knew about? Even a few producers, who usually stay above the gossip tide, made discreet attempts to ask Halil if there was a particular reason. He listened, smiled, and redirected. The film. The ensemble. The work. Nothing else. If you've ever watched a seasoned actor handle a delicate moment, you'd recognize the choreography, acknowledge without answering, steady the focus, let the questions fall to the floor and stay there. Meanwhile, on her pages, the rhythm of work carried on. Tightly scheduled days. Lighting setups that make the hours melt together. A quick behind-the-scenes glimpse here, a rehearsal snapshot there, and a caption that spoke of long hours and early calls without naming dates or places. This is serious, some whispered, not about romance, but about the kind of schedule that bulldozes everything else. And yet, timing is the heartbeat of every story in this world. Because it wasn't just any premiere, it was a career marker for Halil. The kind of night that gets remembered. When life delivers a clash between professional milestones, the heart doesn't always get to set the calendar. But that truth rarely comforts those who want clearer answers. It's not the first time they've weathered a storm like this. A rumor rises, people talk, headlines sharpen their edges, and then suddenly the two appear somewhere, in a way that feels natural rather than staged. Their pattern is not to feed the spectacle. No press conference. No public argument with the rumor mill. They choose the quieter route, the kind where the relationship is a room, not a stage, and any crisis is tended to with the door closed. Maybe that's why their current silence is so easy to misread. For some, it's a pause that signals nothing more than normal life. For others, it's the echo before a break. But habit suggests something else. A deliberate choice not to live their love at the mercy of every timeline except their own. Expectations, meanwhile, stretch into the days ahead. An award ceremony is around the corner. A festival is coming. A small post can redraw the narrative. A handshake in public, a glance, a shared laugh, even a brief acknowledgement can wrap this story up like a ribbon on a gift. Or it can fling the lid off again. It is the strange power of a single frame when millions are ready to read meaning into everything. One image can be context, another can be confession. And sometimes, against the clamor of anticipation, they will simply decide that the story belongs to them, not to us. For now, we are swimming in other people's words. Observations made from across a room, interpretations laid over silence like transparent film, questions with shadows longer than their answers. The clearest truth is also the simplest: we don't know. That is what keeps this particular rumor alive, the space it gets to occupy in uncertainty. Maybe it will end with a candid photo that catches them mid-laugh. Maybe a line dropped into an interview, light as a feather, will be enough. Or maybe it will be a different kind of answer: time, consistent choices, and the steady hum of two lives that refuse to be scheduled by anyone but the people living them. And there's one more detail that couldn't be missed. People at the gala didn't just gossip. They asked, genuinely. Fans, colleagues, even those who don't usually care for the tabloid fog. The curiosity wasn't only about a headline, it was about the image of support everyone expects at these marquee moments. The human part of it. Maybe that's why the story has legs, because in the end, what everyone wants for them is simple. That the person you care about is there when the lights go up and the room is watching. But life isn't a neat script, and even love stories with the brightest glow can have chapters framed in shadow. So here we are, a premiere that should have been all about a film becomes the setting for a question mark. The night belonged to Halil Ibrahim Ceyhan and his new project, and in many ways it still does. The reviews will come, the numbers will add up, the work will stand as it always does. And somewhere alongside that, this whisper of absence will either distort into a story it was never meant to be, or dissolve the moment the two of them decide it's time. Until then, we wait in the in-between, listening to the echo of a silence that everyone is trying to translate. And that brings us to the end of our video. If you like our video, don't forget to subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars and share it. Goodbye.